So I'm Ned Banks, I'm part of the Trails Committee, and we have a combination of some folks that are on the Trails Committee, some that live in town that are walking with us today. And the beauty of having Joe Moresco with us today is if you can't get out and see a trail, walk a trail, you can go to YouTube and take a look at it and describe. It's kind of like, you know, a lot of people will donate funds for state parks or the National Park Service for national parks, but they may not get there, you know, but they like the fact that there's some place that it's being protected. So on a much smaller scale, we have that here. It was purchased by the town 1978. It's about 123 acres. There used to be a connection here and on Calypso Lane. There were two footpaths that led out to the end of Wharf Creek. The one on Calypso doesn't really work. There's no parking there, and this one is much easier to use. So we'll give you a little history of it, and maybe talk about stone walls and that sort of stuff. But we'll lock up vehicles and we will go. So we'll start here because we need a beginning. This is Wharf Creek. This post, there was a post similar to this, had been here for many years, probably since 1978. And then one time I came by here and it was missing. So we looked all around the woods out here, couldn't find it. And we had another Trails member, Brian McCarthy. He's kind of handy at doing some woodworking here, and had some paint, and had his kids, grandkids, help him install this. And it highlights the start of the trail again, which is good, and no one has taken it, and hopefully no one will. We'll do like a little walk and talk, and we'll get there. But we just want to point out, so the red markers, we're on the red trail. It's the only trail that's here, the red trail. And the unique thing about the red trail is no matter what property you go to in Marshfield Conservation Land, not to be confused with the Audubon or the Wildlands Trust or Trustees of the Reservation or New England Forestry or any other smaller group that has trails in town. I can't say for those, but for the town-sponsored one, the red trail is always the main trail. So if you think you're getting confused sometime when you're out there and you hook up with the red trail, if you can't get it one way, turn around, walk the other way. You'll find it. A lot of the sites we're working to put wooden kiosks up, and high school builds the kiosks for us, and we have another woman, Angela, who is a graphic designer. And so the little map that we showed you out here would have a much larger map to it and give more features on it. So just to point those out. Bank. we're almost there. This is a good time to talk about some stuff that was seen on the trail. So typically the trail markers we're seeing, red ones, we try to, and I can't find one right now, so we'll see it. Except right there, straight ahead. Try to put them about 6 feet tall, and there are many different ways that you can mark trails, and we did a whole research on spray painting, or different colors, or symbols, or materials, whether it's metal or plastic, and there didn't seem to be one universally accepted means to do it. And in this area, Wildlands Trust and trustees, they seem to use the markers, and we came across the metal ones. They seem to work for us, and we don't have a problem with them. And on the trail, I mean, the beauty of this trail right now is, like many of the other trails, hasn't really come to life. So there's not a lot of briars to cut back and so forth. We had a scout troop, Troop 424 from, they're out of the Boys and Girls Club. It's an all-female troop. And so they're doing some volunteer work, part of their merit badges with the Trails Committee to maintain or clean up some of the trails. So we had them out last Monday at Webster's Wilderness, and you know, there was nothing to cut really. You know, the little raking we did, moved some sticks around, but in another month when they come back out again, as you can see, the briars starting to come back. There'll be a fair amount of cutting to do. The other thing that we've seen, and we see now, the stone walls, and I went online last week and just Googled stone walls of New England, and then I went to stone walls in Massachusetts, and they it seems like, you know, stone walls all over the place, and at least in Massachusetts, it relates to farmers and, you know, moving and stacking areas, stone on top of each other, so they could create areas for that are plowable, so for crops. And they also mark property boundaries, help excuse me, with fencing for animals, fencing for property rights, strong barriers between adjacent fields, neighbors, and farms. And there's also a law called the Stonewall Preservation of Massachusetts, and what it says is that if you move the stone walls and rearrange them, there could be a fine, and it's by the natural resource officers or deputy natural resource officers. Could actually arrest you if you do it. So you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to move them. That being said, they allow you exceptions to small pathways to cut through, kind of like this area here. So it seems to be pretty reasonable. Yeah, out of New England, there's one state that has the most stone walls. And anyone want to guess which state it might be?
Yeah.
So, what?
New Hampshire.
What about New Hampshire?
It's not got the most?
No. Sorry, you're way off.
Vermont.
No.
Connecticut.
No.
No, it's not even a New England state.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, it is a New England state?
Yep.
Rhode Island?
Rhode Island. Rhode Island. Joe, good thing you were here. We would have been here all day.
Well, there's not a lot of New England states.
It was Rhode Island or Maine.
So it says Rhode Island has the most stone walls. And why? Why? It says because Rhode Island was settled early, so they got a good head start on it. And instead of having your homestead and then you're done with it and you're moving further west, people just stayed there and they stayed there and they stayed there and they made more stone walls. So they just Rhode Island is the place. So, we have we made it to the Green Harbor River, and we'll give you a little let's see, we'll give you some recent history and then we'll go back and give you some earlier history. Oh, Joe, make sure you get a picture of the bench right here. Yeah. People using it. Every time we do a walk, we have to get like one picture. So we'll do the bench here, and maybe everyone can be right around the bench. We'll do a quick photo, and then we'll tell you why. Delaney Allen was an Eagle Scout, and she was Troop 424, and for her project she built a trail bench, and also at much like what you have right here, except it was at South River Street where the substation is there. And she also did a inside Pratt Farm, which is an area right next to the rail trail. She built a footbridge that was over a wet area. So it was quite fun to have Delaney, because we knew her when she was back 3 years old and with her sisters and doing this stuff. And so the trail benches, we probably have 7 or 8 that have been installed, and people have been sponsoring them. So the cost is $350, and we buy the materials. Tom's kids build it, transport it, install, and then on the one, this one wasn't sponsored, but on the ones that are sponsored, we have a little plaque on it, who did it and why they did it, that sort of stuff.
And Tom Delaney and his students would they would restore it or try to build more of it.
So Tom Grillen, sorry, I was getting mixed up. Tom Grillen is the high school building construction teacher. Delaney Allen was the scout that did our Eagle Scout project with us.
Okay.
And so to come up with the right bench, we did a fair amount of research. We looked at Wyland's Trust, what they had. We looked at what was down that Rob Nerger built, installed next to the volleyball courts at Coast Guard Hill. And we came up with a third design, sort of a compromise between those. And now it's at the high school, they have a template now, so they know how to build. Every bench will be the same, basically. And it's neat. We have several on the bridle path and on the rail trail, and people have found them just good to use. When the nice thing about Delaney's bench is that we didn't think about it until afterwards. So where it is, you can see it when you drive by on South River Street. She happens to live on a part of town that they go by South River Street and by the bench probably 2 or 3 times a day. And so every time they go by, they slow down so they can see who's using the bench. So they're pretty happy with that. And we had an old bench right here that Mary would fix and nail back, and then now we have a nice new bench. Also with this area, we have Forgot it. I didn't forget it, left it in the car. So Joe, your mission is when we get back, I have a Marshfield history book, and the history book has a picture of this Everson Island. Everson.
Erastus Everson.
And his
Yeah.
hey, what's going on? That's okay. We were having a good time. How you doing?
Good, how are you? That's the Marshfield Accountability.
So-
They gave it to us when we moved here 31 years ago.
And this is Blackman's Point with the campground. This island was well, first route. There was the mouth of the North River where the dike is. There was a storm back in the 1800s, and the original opening was down in Duxbury, Marshfield line, about half a mile from here. And this island was created out of soil and materials from the Saco, Maine. The reason why we know that is that ships from Saco, Maine would come down here. There was a sawmill here, Blackman sawmill. They would take the wood, cut it all up. The soil, and it's been tested. The Saco soil is only found here and in Saco, Maine. And it's here because they used it for ballast. When they were coming down, they had to get rid of it, so they started to dump it. And over a period of time, it created an island. It's about 1.9 acres. It wasn't on the map of 1795, but it does appear in 1872. So it's one of those things. And before the dike was here, the water used to flow all the way up. And with the storm, it created a new mouth. So from the instead of the Duxbury Marshfield line down there, the new mouth is up here in 1816. 1800 was the storm that changed the mouth of the river, and 1816 there was another storm, and it changed here, created a new mouth. There was no dike, and what the fishermen liked was that they could bring their boats in, and there was more room for fishing. And what the farmers didn't like was properties bordered the river, is that there was a lot more frequently storms, water surge coming in, and it was salt water, and it didn't work well with the gardens. And so
Is the original what they call Cut River?
Cut River is behind Green Harbor. Yeah, like where the Green Harbor lobster.
Is that the original?
Yes. So it became an issue with the farmers and the fishermen, and the farmers petitioned the court in 1871 to create the dike, and it was to control the flow of salt water coming in here. I don't have it in my notes here, but there was a lot of grumbling between the farmers and the fishermen, and legend has it, and maybe it was true, but there were some folks that were going to blow up the dike because they wanted the boats to come. They didn't want when that was shut down, there was more fertile soil for the farmers, which they liked, but the fishermen didn't like it because they couldn't get in here. So at some point in time, they were supposed to blow up that dike, so the fishermen could come back in, but it never happened for whatever reason. I don't know. But I do know that that the island was called the Everson Island, or is called the Everson Island. And it goes back to Mr. Everson. He was a writer. He built a little cottage here. And throughout the years, from his kids and cousins and family members, a lot, and it just was passed down from here, family to family. There was a fire back in the 1970s, and it burnt down the cottage. They built up a new cottage, and then that one burnt down in 1981. And as far as I know, there's no structure on that right now, but descendants of those who owned it camp out there.